Down on the field after the Poinsettia Bowl, and the San Diego State Aztecs 35-14 winners over Navy. Craig Elsten, Chris Ello, our final post-game video cast of the year. And you know what, Chris? I mean, this becomes a field of dreams for San Diego State. So many nightmares for so many years for this Aztecs football program, and tonight, almost 50,000 in the house. You beat the U.S. Naval Academy, a national coming out party for the Aztecs football program.
Maybe it's just under the category of never say never. I mean, I never thought I'd see the San Diego State basketball team ranked 7th in the country. I'm not so sure, I thought I'd see the Aztecs win a bowl game. I mean, it seemed like something you should be able to do. But, this football program has been so down for so long. So tonight was a special night for San Diego State. And I'll be honest with you, Craig, this whole day was really somewhat remarkable to me. I had a chance to be out in the parking lot for the first time this year for the Warrior Walk. I don't know if you remember Brady Hoke bringing that back this year. And I think people kind of scoffed at it and said, well, are people really going to come out and salute the kids when they come into the stadium? And I'm sure it started slow, back in the Nichols State game. Today, there was thousands of Aztec fans. I kid you not. They lined a tunnel from Friars Road all the way to the entrance of the stadium. And they dropped these kids off at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and they walked through that tunnel, and they just kind of carried the momentum and the good feeling of that throughout the entire day, entire evening. And then I just saw so much class after the game to go over to the Navy side and thank all of the midshipmen that were here. I mean, you don't see football teams do that. That's the lasting impression I have of this game, was the class with which this game was played by both sides.
And I'll just throw in a huge hat tip to the Qualcomm Stadium grounds crew for this game happening, because where we were standing was like 2 feet underwater yesterday. This time yesterday, 2 feet underwater. So a great job, because this became, a pretty fast track. And a lot of people thought, myself included, that a boggy track would help out Navy and their power running over the Aztec speed. Ronnie Hillman didn't stop.
No, there was 2 athletes on the field tonight that Navy could do nothing about. And that's really was the difference in the game. It was Ronnie Hillman, obviously, and Vincent Brown. And the Navy just didn't have athletes that could compete with those 2 guys. So they took over the game. Al Bohr just realized it and kept pressing his advantage. I mean, that was his advantage, and he kept going to it. The most impressive thing tonight for the Aztecs was the way they played in terms of mistake-free. I mean, are you kidding me? They had a month off. Everybody was concerned that the Aztecs would be, take a little while to dust off the rust, etc. What, 2 penalties in the entire game, no turnovers, no sacks, no silly mistakes, no real breakdowns defensively. They got beat on a couple of nice passes by Dobbs, but they played an outstanding game. This wasn't a game that Navy just, played soft and turned the ball over and kind of, let the Aztecs run away. The Aztecs just played so well that Navy couldn't keep up.
Yeah, and I thought the Aztecs defense today, after, first half, you got to get your legs against that triple option attack. And Dobbs, like you mentioned, had some very nice over-the-top passes. He's a very talented athlete. Yeah. He's done a lot of great things in that option.
He's got my vote for president in 2040. I know. I was kind of just honored to be in the same stadium as that kid. I mean, he has an aura. But I don't know if people realize Navy scored 209 points in the second half this year, and that's when they made their hay during this season, was the second half. So when they score a touchdown to go in right before halftime, then open a second half with the ball, drive all the way down the field, get right to the doorstep, and it looked like they were going to tie the game up. And one of the most unheralded plays of the entire night was made by Josh Wade and Brandon Davis on a 3rd and 3 from the Aztec 3-yard line. They ran the pitch play. It had worked all night, and those 2 guys came up, made the tackle. That was the one right there, and the Navy went on 4th down. They missed the play, and the Aztecs took control from there. But it was, defensively to shut them out in the second half when they had that kind of team, that kind of offense, pretty impressive job.
Aztec fans traditionally wait for the other shoe to drop, but this was the year that the other shoe didn't drop. The Aztecs took that step forward as a program. They won all the games they had to win. They became bowl eligible in the bowl designed for their program. and which I think is so important not only for San Diego State, but for the Poinsettia Bowl, to have that opportunity to have this matchup that they've been dreaming of, to have it come through the way it did, almost 50,000 in the house, a new record. And now naturally you look ahead, 17 seniors leave the program. I asked Ryan Lindley after the game, he says he's not leaving the program. Ryan is coming back for his senior year. Brady Hope, by all accounts, is coming back for his third season on Montezuma Mesa, and you really now see a team that A, Chris, has something to build on, but also B, now is going to be identified as a program to be reckoned with in the Mountain West Conference. I'm sure everyone will be gearing up for an even bigger shot at San Diego State next year.
I think so, and we talked about this the last month, Craig. I think this victory was imperative to put an exclamation point on this season. You know, when San Diego State fans, and we're just predicting, who knows what's going to happen, but I think when we sit here 10 years from now, everyone's going to say, when did everything finally turn for San Diego State? They're going to say 2010. That's when it turned. But this was an 8-4 season coming into the game tonight where, you know, just the way it turned out, the 4 losses stuck out more than the 8 wins because they had a chance to win almost every one of those games, and there was those disappointments. I think this win and the way they won this game, it doesn't erase everything that happened this year, but it brings the whole thing to a happy conclusion, a little cherry on top, if you will. And so now you look back on 2010 and you say, you know what, this was nothing but thumbs up.
Yeah, and you know, Brady Hope spent the whole year saying it's Mountain West Conference championship or bust, but really the story there is that Hope raises the expectations and raises his demands of this program. There was no way the Aztecs were going to win the Mountain West Conference championship this year. Okay, TCU's in the conference. It wasn't going to happen, but you've got to take this step, I think, before you can take that step.
I agree with you, and I'm pretty sure that we were both just in the interview room, and everybody asked Brady Hope, you know, a little bit to look ahead, and he said, you know, are you going to have a letdown, or how are you going to, you know, get your team back for this year? You know, what you did this year, how are you going to get them back to do it again next year? Brady Hope said, are you kidding me? We didn't accomplish what we set out to do this year. That's the kind of thing you need to say, you know? You can't sit there and go, hey, 9-4 was what we wanted. We wanted the Mountain West Conference championship. We didn't get it. That's still a goal that we have. That's what you kind of think about all off season when you're in the weight room and it's time to run that extra sprint or, you know, do that extra film study. Hey, we didn't accomplish what we wanted to this year. That's the only way you ever get there.
January 24th, it all gets started again for the Aztecs. That's when they'll be hitting the weight room in winter practice. Coach Hoke already said it. They're ready. Yeah, January 24th. They've got 1 month off and then right back at it. But I tell you what a Christmas present to put under the tree of every San Diego State fan, every Aztecs fan that has suffered every indignity that they could in the sporting world. Look how 2010 wraps up with an undefeated men's basketball team, and this team winning the Poinsettia Bowl men's football program 35-14 over Navy. Just an incredible year for the Aztecs.
I want to just add one last stat that our friend Ben Higgins told me today. The last day prior to today, obviously, that the Aztecs played in a bowl game was December 20th, 1998. They lost to North Carolina. On that day, the San Diego State men's basketball team had a record of 1-11. Wow. Okay? Things have changed, my friend. Things have changed.